Ah!
Are you all right?
Mother? Oh shit, your hand!
So?
Okay, it's done.
Did you put it in a safe place?
Yes. I made sure no one was following me. Don't worry, Sarah. No one's going to find it.
Are you absolutely sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Right. Just one thing left to do.
No, Mother, don't!
What? Have you lost your mind?
There's no other way.
If you kill me, you won't find it.
That is the point, my dear. No one must ever put their hands on it again.
No. But I trusted you.
No, Sarah. Don't. No. No! You can run if you want to, Sarah. Good evening, my friends.
Holy shit. That's the man from my vision.
An urgent case has delayed our host, Lord Mortimer. He can't be present this evening, and he sends his deepest apologies.
He's asked me here and he hasn't even turned up? Great start. Do you know that man?
Sir Gregory Holm, an English aristocrat. Very influential. He's also close to Lord Mortimer. So don't be surprised if he acts like he's at home.
And now, my dear guests, a light meal is served in the small salon. For those who would like to, you're invited to follow me into the next room.
My dear fellow, you must have read my thoughts. I shall follow.
We'll have to be careful not to make too much noise. One of Lord Mortimer's guests is relaxing.
Oh, we shall be quiet.
Don't take it the wrong way, Sir Holm, but I have already eaten. Thus, I shall be happy to remain by the fireside.
If you don't mind, Gregory, I should like to keep Mr. Washington company.
Please feel at home. And you, sir?
If I stay with Washington, we'll be able to speak about my mother. But on the other hand, I'd like to learn more about this Holm. I saw him in my vision. My vision is more important. Let's follow Holm.
I'll follow you, sir. Mr. Washington, I hope to speak with you at greater length on another occasion. Emily, please excuse me, but I would like to speak to Sir Holm. I shall see you later.
My friend, I hope our dear Giovanni is well.
The troubles in France have fatigued him, but he will recover slowly. Do not fear. He apologizes for remaining in Rome. The voyage was too much for him.
And right he was, too. The mildness of the Mediterranean, eh? Come, sit down and have something to eat, my friend. You look rather pale. Excuse me, sir. I have been neglecting my duty. I haven't introduced myself. Sir Gregory Holm, an old friend of Lord Mortimer's.
A real pleasure, sir.
You who must be well used to the court of France. How do you find this peaceful little haven?
Charming if I hadn't come here for disturbing reasons.
Yes, I heard the news. What a story.
Indeed. I wanted to ask you. Would you have any information about the disappearance of my mother?
Very little, I'm afraid, my young friend. Your mother came at the invitation of Lord Mortimer. Then one fine day, we couldn't find her anywhere.
That's it?
As I said, I don't know very much. Lord Mortimer had the entire area searched immediately. We found no clue as to her disappearance. But I am convinced that as soon as Lord Mortimer becomes available, he will explain the situation.
Thank you for your answers, Sir Holm. But I beg your pardon. I get the impression I know you. Have we met?
Except in my dreams, of course.
Not that I remember, young man. Perhaps you were mistaking me for another member of the Chamber of Lords. And what with the wig and the powder, it wouldn't be the first time.
No, you were definitely the one I saw threatening my mother.
I thought... Never mind. It'll come back to me. Would you allow me one last question, sir? I don't want to take up all your time.
Please, go ahead. What do you want to know?
Sir, do you know Emily Hillsborough?
Oh, Madame la Duchesse. Of course. It was I who invited her to the island. In addition to mutual business we wanted to talk about, I absolutely wanted to introduce her to Lord Mortimer.
Do you know of any link between her and my mother?
Not really, no. They may well have met at the court of King George, but I can't be sure about that.
No dispute between them, then?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And even if Duchess Hillsborough is a complex woman to understand, I honestly can't imagine her in a conflict with the famous Sara de Ricci.
No!
Elizabeth! I should have insisted that you rest in your room.
Do you want me to call someone?
Let me handle this. I'm used to this kind of thing. Miss, can you hear me?
Leave me.
Her breathing is becoming stable and... her heart rate, too.
Pale complexion, thin, broken nails, an enormous scar on her temple, tattoos on her hands. I don't know what happened to you, Missy, but it looks like you've been through hell.
Can you tell me something about her? Who is this young lady?
Elizabeth Adams. She's come to the island for a course of treatment, to rest.
For a course of treatment?
That's right. Sea air can do wonders. Are you all right, Elizabeth? Do you feel any better?
When did she arrive?
4 days ago.
Okay. My mother had already gone missing. She's just regained consciousness and she immediately reaches for her brooch? I don't know exactly what it means to her, but obviously it's got to be something important.
Are you all right, Elizabeth? You gave us quite a fright.
Take it easy, miss.
Let me... I just need to get back to my room.
Of course, my dear. Go ahead.
You saw it, didn't you?
Pardon me?
I segni della bestia.
Sorry, Your Eminence. I don't speak Italian.
Forget it. It doesn't matter.
Gentlemen, it's getting late. It is time for everyone to go to bed. It has been a long day.
It's all the more delicate.
I'll see what I can do, but the case I'm on at the moment might well leave me with very few opportunities. Well, I am impressed with all this splendor.
But don't spend too much time with Mr. Washington, my dear, or you'll lose your pretty accent. You seem to be intrigued by that statue.
Absolutely. It is remarkable.
Oh, it's naughty to tell lies. Bet my life that you were talking about something totally different from the decoration of the manor. But to find out what, I should have stayed with them. Too bad.
Lord Mortimer is fond of atypical works of art. I won't disguise the fact that I find it all a little megalomaniacal. But I must say, he does have some outstanding pieces.
Sir Holm, who was that young lady with you?
Elizabeth Adams, Mr. President. She would have liked to have stayed with us, but the poor thing is exhausted.
Elizabeth Adams?
Just mentioning Elizabeth totally changed Washington's attitude. Looks like he just saw a ghost.
Miss Adams is here to rest. You have perhaps already come across her in the corridors. She arrived a few days ago.
I perceived her, but we weren't introduced.
Rest assured, she is not here for the same reasons as yourselves. Consequently, I'm counting on your indulgence.
Washington looks surprised, but Holm doesn't seem to see it. I wonder if he's being polite or if he really doesn't see his discomfort.
On that note, it's very late. You must be exhausted. The servant will accompany you to your rooms. Your turn? The servants are not very efficient.
Durocher can't be far away. They'll find her soon. Their search time is restricted, given that they must keep an eye on Adams.
I can take care of her, you know.
Yes. Well, in any case, I do thank you for bringing her to the island.
From what I've understood, the search of Durocher's room hasn't turned up any results.
Not yet, no. But we've put her son in there. Perhaps he'll find something.
That might come in handy.
Louis grows impatient at not yet having met the famous Lord Mortimer.
He will meet him tomorrow.
Oh, what a pity to lose a knight at the start of the game. Are you waiting for someone?
A young French soldier.
During our game of chess?
Don't worry, Gregory. The game won't disappear. I'll have one of my men escort you back.
Don't trouble yourself. I know my way out.
Ah, good evening, gentlemen. Please forgive me for this late hour.
It is never too late, and we have much to discuss. One last move?
Don't worry. Our games always seem to end like this.
Or always start like this. Come, come, take a seat, my friend.
A little nighttime stroll, Mr. President?
There's nothing like it for a good night's sleep.
Do not hesitate to ask a servant to show you back.
The corridors seem quite safe.
Peppermint, lime flower, and valerian. My miracle remedy when one can't get to sleep. A very good night to you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And to you too, sir.
Dear friends, I bid you welcome. I hope the night was not too short. Your Eminence, Duchess, Monsieur de Richet, allow me to introduce our new guests. They arrived during the night. Johann Christoph von Wollner, Minister of Religious Affairs and close aide of Frederick William II, King of Prussia. Napoleon Bonaparte, Lieutenant of the French Revolutionary Army. And Jacques Peroux, French Revolutionary Tribunal Judge. Unfortunately, my friends, Lord Mortimer will not be joining us this morning, but he should be with us later. So, let us begin.
What is Mortimer playing at? He tells me to come urgently and he sends no one to meet me?
And right
Thank you again for the wine, Your Eminence. It is served every day at the king's table.
Please, go
I
ahead.
am delighted to know.
What do you want to know?
Volner and Piaggi seem to be getting along well.
My dear Johann, how are you?
Glad to make landfall at last. And yourself?
Very well.
And your husband?
He's poorly. The French Revolution gives him terrible headaches.
Oh, I understand. I should feel better too, as soon as the situation is settled.
If by chance the French crisis is emulated in Berlin, there will always be a refuge for you in London, my dear.
Your offer does you honor, Emily. But London is much closer to Paris than Berlin. Beware. The French are capable of sailing up the Thames straight to the Houses of Parliament.
Oh, my friend, I am shaking in my clogs.
Is the wine to your liking?
Very much so, Sir Gregory. Such complexity. Typically French. A Southern, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken, this is not Lord Mortimer's favorite wine. It is yours.
In his absence, I have taken the liberty of making a slight deviation from the rule, but I count on your discretion.
Don't worry, I appreciate the same grape varieties as you. I remember the last time we tasted that nectar here at this table. The finest minds of the century were present.
And the last time we drank it, the orphanage in Bloomsbury was still in ruins.
Would you repeat that?
Oh, well, I put some small effort into the works. The orphanage reopened just before Christmas. The bedrooms, washrooms, and the classrooms had all been refurbished.
I don't know what to say. You have given the girls a wonderful Christmas gift. Thank you.
I made a promise. Now it is done. Right, we shall meet again tomorrow. All the guests will be present, as well as Lord Mortimer, I hope. Until then, I trust you will find plenty to keep you amused. Elizabeth! Monsieur de Richet, I am arresting you for the murder of Elizabeth Adams.
What the hell's going on?
You are in deep trouble, my young friend. You will find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Richet. William, I would like to see you a moment before we begin. In private.
Let's step outside a moment. Louis, this will only take a few moments.
Better not make myself look more suspicious than I already do.
Good evening, Monsieur de Richet.
Likewise, Sir Gregory.
Well then, let us begin.
Gregory, Louis told me we needn't be concerned.
Of course. Monsieur de Richet, the situation seems to escape your grasp, so I won't beat about the bush. Did you kill Elizabeth Adams?
What are you talking about? I only helped her. We talked and she wanted to leave. I imagine that's what she did, right?
We have found no trace of her leaving, monsieur. So allow me to have my doubts.
Nor have we found any reason to believe that Louis is lying. We must remain calm, Gregory. We have found no evidence that would suggest that Elizabeth has been murdered. For the time being, she has only disappeared. Let's stick to the facts, if you please.
Well, where is she then?
She's probably gone back home. She didn't want to stay here any longer. She seemed very uncomfortable here. Why imagine the worst?
Until there is evidence to the contrary, your mother is still lurking nearby, and I dare not think what would happen were they to meet. Damnation, William! This is a fiasco. Sir, you don't seem to realize just how serious this is.
Let's try and remain calm, Gregory. In any case, it would be far better if Elizabeth really has left the island, as Louis says. Why do you think she wanted to leave?
She was terrorized by my mother's presence here. Just the thought of coming face to face with her was unbearable.
Did she tell you why?
Yes, she brought the subject up.
I'm sorry, Louis. It couldn't have been easy to hear.
For your sake, I sincerely hope that she got there safely. Monsieur de Richet, I apologize if my words seemed a little abrupt. I dare not think what would happen if Elizabeth came across your mother on the island. Your generosity may well cost you dearly.
I understand, my lord. I certainly regret it.
You don't need us for any of this. So come along, Monsieur Peru. We are leaving. This sort of behavior is not working in your favor, young man.
Gregory, Louis told me we needn't be concerned.
Of course. Monsieur de Richet, the situation seems to escape your grasp, so I won't beat about the bush. Did you kill Elizabeth Adams?
Everything's all mixed up in my head. I'm sorry. Look, we had a few drinks, and I think I remember putting laudanum in the wine, and I started getting dizzy. I don't remember anything about last night.
I don't think you could have provided a worse answer to that question.
We must remain calm, Gregory. We have found no evidence that would suggest that Elizabeth has been murdered. For the time being, she has only disappeared. Let's stick to the facts, if you please.
Well, where is she then?
Last night when we talked, she said she felt uncomfortable here and spoke of leaving but didn't say where to.
Knowing Elizabeth, I am sure she must have spoken to you about your mother.
I don't see the connection. What has my mother got to do with this?
Gregory is suggesting he isn't certain that Elizabeth has left the island, and that some misfortune might well have befallen her during the night.
But that's not the case.
Well, that's what you say. You are the last person who saw her alive. There might well be any number of reasons why you wanted her silenced.
No one can substantiate your claim that she left as you said she did, Louis.
Monsieur de Richet, we have given you every opportunity to reassure us as to the fate of Elizabeth. You have only succeeded in plunging yourself into deeper trouble. I will never rest until we are certain that Elizabeth is indeed alive.
I assure you, my lord.
We are obliged to believe you for the moment. Consequently, I shall make you a promise in return. If ever we find out that anything has happened to poor Elizabeth, I shall personally see to it that your head will land in a basket. You don't need us for any of this. So come along, Monsieur Peru. We are leaving. You will find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Richet. Monsieur de Richet, I am arresting you for the murder of Elizabeth Adams. William, I would like to see you a moment before we begin. In private.
Let's step outside a moment. Louis, this will only take a few moments.
Let's take this chance to look around.
Please, sit back down, Louis.
This sort of behavior is not working in your favor, young man. Monsieur de Richet, you were found standing over Miss Adams' body. We must shed some light on your responsibility in this tragedy. We shall then decide on your fate. But you must know that if you do not convince us of your innocence, it will cost you dearly. Now you are going to tell us everything that happened last night, without leaving any detail out. First things first, how did your evening begin?
I was in the corridor and I was about to go to bed. Elizabeth appeared as if from nowhere and rushed toward me. She took me by the arm and led me to her room.
You say she led you? All right, we'll accept that. Continue.
We were heading for our rooms when Elizabeth burst into the corridor, barely dressed. She was panic-stricken and insisted on speaking to me. So I found myself in Elizabeth's room. We sat down together. She insisted we have a drink or she would refuse to confide in me.
What exactly did she want to speak about at such a late hour?
She was panicked. She claimed she had just seen my mother on the island.
Did she say where she saw her?
I seem to remember something about cliffs.
Let us continue. And what happened next?
Then she told me she had poured laudanum in my glass. The next minute I was on the floor. When I woke up, she was lying in a pool of blood.
That is all you have to say? You expect us to believe that you have no idea what happened to her?
Yes, because I'm telling you the truth.
How can you possibly expect us to believe you?
Gregory, we must consider every possibility. Louis, do you have any idea who could have done it?
Well, even if I can't believe for a single instant that my mother could have murdered someone in that manner, she might have wanted to stop Elizabeth from speaking about their mutual past. And things might have turned nasty.
It is indeed a possibility.
I would like to thank you for helping us shed light on what happened last night. To be honest, you are not the only suspect. I'm prepared to believe you were drugged. Our poor Elizabeth hid the stuff everywhere, and I could smell laudanum on you 3 yards away.
So you knew it wasn't me from the start?
We weren't sure. Louis, I am sorry, but everything points in the same direction. I only know one person on this island who might have had a big enough grudge against Elizabeth, who has no alibi, and whose behavior is, well, suspect. Not to mention dangerous.
Tell me what happened before my arrival. I think I've been patient enough.
You don't need us for any of this. So come along, Monsieur Peru. We are leaving.
Louis, do you have any idea who could have done it?
Why don't you ask him where he was last night?
Monsieur Peru, what would his motive be? Do you have any proof?
No, not exactly, but he'd already roughed her up once.
Monsieur de Richet, you should not accuse the first person to come along without at least some proof. I'm sure you are worthier than that.
Can you think of anyone else?
Maybe Mr. Washington.
But of course! And what would his motive be?
I believe he thought Elizabeth was stillborn. Washington could have been trying to protect the secret of his vice president, Elizabeth's father.
Sorry, Louis, but it so happened that Mr. Washington spent most of the time with Duchess Hillsborough. She confirmed it.
Let's finish this, William. I don't rightly know how we can give the benefit of the doubt to an individual who can manipulate the truth to absurdity.
Louis, unfortunately, you haven't managed to convince us. You will agree that you had the time and the motive to commit the murder. I am devastated, but I must agree with Gregory and declare you guilty.
Gentlemen, if you please, wait. There is something else. Elizabeth ended up telling me why my mother had tried to treat her.
The voices in her head, is that it?
She spoke to you about them too, didn't she? Gentlemen, I'm not a doctor, but she was persuaded she heard voices in her head. You don't think she might have killed herself,
By
do you?
stabbing herself 9 times. I find that extremely unlikely, don't you?
What? Stabbed 9 times?
It appears that the murderer walked up and stabbed her several times from behind. We counted 9 gashes in all. All of them were relatively shallow, and they were all given from roughly the same angle of attack. Traces of blood appear to prove that she was standing throughout the attack.
If that's all the proof you have before dispensing justice, then you'll have innocent blood on your hands. There's no proof I could have committed the murder.
You do know, sir, that the first impression is often the right one. We found you near dear Elizabeth's body. What could be simpler?
Goodbye.
No! Monsieur de Richet, you were found standing over Miss Adams' body. We must shed some light on your responsibility in this tragedy. We shall then decide on your fate. But you must know that if you do not convince us of your innocence, it will cost you dearly. Now you are going to tell us everything that happened last night, without leaving any detail out. First things first, how did your evening begin?
Duchess Hillsborough and I were returning to our rooms when Elizabeth came upon us.
Oh, so you were with the Duchess?
Yes, we were talking. We were walking up the stairs, and it was late.
Where did you come from?
I don't remember. I think we came from the Grand Hall.
Oh, isn't that surprising? Do continue.
We were heading for our rooms when Elizabeth burst into the corridor, barely dressed. She was panic-stricken and insisted on speaking to me. So I found myself in Elizabeth's room. We sat down together. She insisted we have a drink, or she would refuse to confide in me.
What exactly did she want to speak about at such a late hour?
Well, she was terrorized by the fact that you invited her at the same time as my mother. She was surely victim to misconceptions, but felt trapped. She was convinced she was going to die.
But why?
Let's say she didn't believe in coincidences, shall we? You'll admit that the chances of my mother and Elizabeth bumping into each other on this island are pretty slim. Sorry if I'm putting my nose where it doesn't belong, my lord, but why did you invite them at the same time? Elizabeth spoke to you about her past. She came here so you could help her fight her demons. She must have told you about her encounters with my mother.
Remember, Louis, I was not the one who invited dear Elizabeth.
Indeed, it was me. And you seem to forget it was you that we found right next to poor Elizabeth's body. You had better start proving your innocence rather than trying to cast doubts on William here. Let's finish this, William. I don't rightly know how we can give the benefit of the doubt to an individual who can manipulate the truth to absurdity.
Louis, unfortunately, you haven't managed to convince us. You will agree that you had the time and the motive to commit the murder. I am devastated, but I must agree with Gregory and declare you guilty.
Gentlemen, if you please, wait. There is something else. Elizabeth ended up telling me why my mother had tried to treat her.
The voices in her head, is that it?
She spoke to you about them too, didn't she? Gentlemen, I'm not a doctor, but she was persuaded she heard voices in her head. You don't think she might have killed herself,
By
do you?
stabbing herself 9 times. I find that extremely unlikely, don't you?
What? Stabbed 9 times?
It appears that the murderer walked up and stabbed her several times from behind. We counted 9 gashes in all. All of them were relatively shallow, and they were all given from roughly the same angle of attack. Traces of blood appear to prove that she was standing throughout the attack.
If that's all the proof you have before dispensing justice, then you'll have innocent blood on your hands. There's no proof I could have committed the murder.
You do know, sir, that the first impression is often the right one. We found you near dear Elizabeth's body. What could be simpler?
Goodbye.
No!
You will pay dearly, Peru. I'm sure you were involved somewhere along the line.
That's right. Pretend you don't know. One piece of advice. Don't travel through France on your way back, or it'll cost you dearly.
Calm now, my friends. Let's calm down. Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
What's going on here exactly?
Sir Gregory called us together to introduce the last guest.
But hardly had we arrived when he set upon Monsieur Peru.
And what has Mr. Peru done to once again provoke someone's anger?
We don't really know just yet.
I get the feeling it won't be long before it gets out.
How could you dare do such a thing? Dios mío, you are all out of your minds!
Really, Duke Manuel? What made you kick up such a fuss?
What? Have you not heard? Well, let me inform you that yesterday morning at 10:22 a.m. precisely, in the middle of the Place de la Révolution in Paris, by decree of the National Convention which Monsieur Peru works for, King Louis was guillotined.
What?
Oh, no.
The King of France is dead, gentlemen. Our monarchies are in danger. I have said it before.
How dare they?
Oh, dear.
Oh, as if it...
Gracious.
Friends, let us calm down.
Don't pretend to be surprised. He got a fair trial.
Ridiculous! Bastard! He was sentenced to death by 361 votes to 360. You beheaded a king for 1 vote! Is that your democracy?
What an obnoxious act. Until this, anything was possible. This political coup will have grave consequences.
France is lost.
Gentlemen, please. Let us take a step back a moment.
In the name of holiness. He was the highest representative of God in France, Emily.
Gentlemen, Duchess, we're all among people of reputable company here. We should be able to manage the conflicts of our nations in a respectful and orderly manner.
I fully agree with you, sir.
But
That's enough, sir.
with whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Louis Maras de Richet.
Are you related to Sarah de Richet?
Sarah is his mother, Duke. Gentlemen, this news affects us all, but I must ask you to remain calm. It's not the first time history has taken us by surprise.
Let's ensure that our respective countries are allowed to respond appropriately to this news.
Oh, rest assured, the response will not fall short, my friend.
Good for you. Well, Your Grace, here I was preparing to introduce you as is proper, and you've beaten me to it. I'm delighted that we are all together at last. Our meeting will therefore be able to kick off shortly. I have just a few more little preparations to take care of before you all find out the reason for your presence here. In the meantime, I shall leave you to get to know one another. When you hear the bell, please proceed to the conclave room on my left, behind that door. I'll see you later.
Again?
You can't be serious, Manuel. You know that's not going to happen.
You must leave me alone now. I have agreed to everything. Even to...
Agreed? I wasn't aware you had a choice.
What's going on here?
What now? What else must I do to win back my freedom?
Obey me. Now get out!
What was that? That's the third time in 3 days. Let's see if you're in there, Mother.
Perhaps we may begin, Lord Mortimer.
Certainly. I have a dream that our nations will continue to support each other, more now than ever before. A dream that, for the sake of common good, we will do what it takes to ensure stability in the modern world. I have a dream that we shall lead by example and ensure that the American territory may remain in peace.
Thank you for the thought, Lord Mortimer, but I don't see where you're leading.
I'm coming to it, Mr. President. I need not remind you that North America is currently divided between the United States on the East Coast and Spain, which occupies the remaining 2/3 of the continent. Well, I propose that Spain cede the center of the continent to France, namely all of Louisiana.
Louisiana? But, well, it is not for sale. Lord Mortimer, I sincerely hope I have not come all this way just to hear you ramble on about what Spain should and should not do. When we went to all the trouble of gaining the territory a few years ago, it was not just to lose it today. Have I made myself clear?
What did I tell you, William? You speak of union, and yet here you are, about to tear us apart.
Duke Manuel, I perfectly understand you. But rest assured, you will soon adore my proposition. You shall see. Duchess, I am persuaded that we shall find a common ground.
That's enough, William. These are grave times. We don't care about the fate of Louisiana. That worthless expanse of putrid swamps interests no one but yourself.
Speak for yourself, my friend.
Hold on there, Mr. Royal Gigolo. Lower the volume, and let Sir Gregory finish.
Holm, Godoy, and now Volner? Mortimer's adversaries are ready to tear each other to pieces, and he takes a malicious pleasure in watching it happen.
How dare you!
Gentlemen, let us try to remain calm.
There you are, William. See where your projects have taken us, as per usual. Chaos! That's enough. I'm tired. We shall continue this discussion tomorrow, but please be aware that your project will never be ratified. Those who are opposed to this project, follow me. Are you coming with us, Monsieur de Richet?
Come, Gregory. I think Louis would rather stay. Wouldn't you, Louis?
At the risk of displeasing you, my lord, I'd rather follow Sir Gregory. I don't think this is a place for the Order.
Louis? No. Let him go, Mr. President. Everyone is free to choose.
How can he be so blind? If he keeps this up, he'll lead our countries to their destruction.
Don't worry, we shall counter him, Sir Gregory.
We have to act immediately.
Calm down, Gregory. We only have to vote against his project, and that's it.
They haven't got a chance. Just one vote will suffice.
True. There is no chance of a unanimous vote. And he knows it. He must be preparing something else. What is he plotting?
I know about his plan.
What did you just say, Louis?
His aim is for the United States to take the whole of the North American continent.
But that is impossible!
A democratic superpower.
I don't understand. That has nothing to do with the coming vote.
You will ask for France to take over Louisiana, and then hand it over to the United States, and so double the size of their territory.
Once that's done, he will just need to push a bit more, and you will lose North America, Duke Manuel.
God's blood! Has he gone mad?
No, Johann. He has always been mad. Louis, I would like to thank you for what you've just revealed. If not for you, I don't know if we'd have been capable of deciphering his plans quickly enough to be able to counter him.
What are we going to do now that we know about it?
Destroy him.
No! We'll beat him at his own game, my friends. His plan begins with Louisiana, which is still yours, Duke Manuel. He will begin with you. Expect to receive an envoy, French most probably. He will try to convince you by every possible means. Whatever he says, whatever he promises, you have just one response. It's war. If war is what you want, war is what you'll get. And on your own territory, in your homes. Enough games. Spain will join the coalition against France and declare war. You too, Duchess Hillsborough. You will speak to the Queen so that Great Britain commits to going to war with France.
What do you expect from the Papal States, Sir Gregory?
What do you think? That they hold a mass? They will go to war, of course. What is it that you didn't understand in what I just told you? We all declare war on France. Militarily, politically, and financially.
And me, Sir Gregory? How can I help?
Louis, you have won my trust. The Order will have to act in France, but even before that, I'm going to need you. Right here and right now. Leave me now. I have to prepare for tomorrow. Let's meet early tomorrow morning for the next phase of the conference, which promises to be most exciting. Louis, I'd like to see you a moment, please. Thank you for siding with me today. I won't forget it. I'm going to need you. Help me counter Mortimer on his own ground. Right here. I'm sure he'll try and win some of you over. He needs our votes. Now, you leave that to me. In the meantime, I must ask you to go and see President Washington and persuade him to trust me and join us.
I'll do my best.
You should go right away. There's no time to lose. William already has a head start on us.
Very well. I'll go right away.
My friends, do not worry. I assure you that Lord Mortimer's plan will never see the light of day. I shall deal with informing our allies, but for the time being, I need you to make a stand.
What do you think about Monsieur de Richet?
I don't know yet. I feel there's great potential in him.
He looks like he can be trusted.
Why isn't he with us? He was opposed to Mortimer.
I'll wait and see. I'm still not sure of his position.
And Duchess Hillsborough?
Why isn't she here? She's busy. Don't worry about her.
Oh, isn't it time to replace her?
Not so fast, sir. She is an important figure. You ought to have a little more faith in her.
What are we going to do about Washington?
He will be a hard nut to crack. On our chessboard, he is Mortimer's king.
Don't worry. Mr. President only wants one thing: to keep his dear America united. He won't jeopardize everything he has achieved on a whim.
He has been serving Mortimer for quite some time. It won't be easy to bring him around. I have asked Monsieur de Richet to approach him. Let us have faith in him. I sense that Mr. Peru is about to surprise us too.
Yet he is Mortimer's strong arm in France.
He knows his time has come, and I believe he's intelligent enough to realize it means he is no longer any use to Mortimer. Do you feel all right, Mr. Godoy? You haven't said a word.
Please excuse me, gentlemen. I feel tired.
Oh, I see. I think it is high time you left us then. Now!
My friends, the conference is about to begin. Please excuse me if I troubled you last night with my project. I understand that you might well have a few questions to ask. As you know, the final vote will be cast in a few days. This morning's aim is to answer your questions and check the temperature of your respective positions so that we may reach a greater understanding.
As always, Lord Mortimer.
We parted in perfect disagreement, my lord. Where would you like us to take it from?
Come, sir. Please let William believe he still has a chance of winning us over. Otherwise, his imprecations will lack panache, and we shall be bored stiff.
Oh, let me reassure you, I am convinced that a good night's sleep has brought sound advice, and that this morning will be even more interesting. Therefore, I would like to go around the table in order to hear everyone's first impressions.
Well, I am still firmly against it, even though my choice won't count.
Against.
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 And you, Duke Manuel?
Against, of course.
Well, as for me, I am for Lord Mortimer's project, despite Duchess Hillsborough's overwhelmingly convincing nocturnal attentions.
What? So Emily was playing at trying to win over guests last night?
It was nothing more than a friendly little chat, of course.
How could it be otherwise? And by the way, remember me to your husband when you see him. And you, President Washington, what is your position?
4, of course. And I will add for your benefit, Sir Gregory, that next time you send someone to try to persuade me to change sides, choose someone with a minimum of experience.
Oh, I won't forget, Mr. President.
Duchess, is everything all right?
Come on, Louis. There's nothing more you can do.
But I...
Leave us.
Emily, what's going on?
Mother, go to the crypt. I'll meet you there.
I'll be waiting for you.
Emily.
Madam, I am coming in.
It was bound to end like this, Louis. Let me stay with her. Please. Go. I'll cover you.
What? What are you doing there? Stop!
God damn it. Now what's going on? Good God! They're all here. They must have heard the gunshot.
Where is Lord Mortimer?
Can anyone hear anything through the door?
Did you hear that? I was not dreaming, was I?
Certainly not, Duke Godoy.
What's going on?
Someone had the bang coming from the Duchess's room, and she isn't answering.
Gentlemen, go back to your rooms. Go back to your rooms. I shall find out from Lord Mortimer what this is all about. Thank you.
I sense that Mr. Peru is about to surprise us too.
I need to find some answers. There's no way of being alone for a minute? Sir Gregory?
Good day, Louis. I think it would be good to talk. How are you feeling?
I don't know.
I understand. I heard that William spoke to you at last about our nature and our family. It's a good thing, but you must be a bit shaken up.
That's the least you can say.
I bid you welcome among us, Louis. Knowing William, he probably didn't go into any detail about our family, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Oh, I see he's teaching you how to read. On the other hand, he obviously hasn't taught you our manners and customs. You can read anyone's thoughts, but know that if you try to read the thoughts of a more experienced demon, he will sense you and might take offense of your lack of manners. And he who is more experienced is more dangerous. Do you understand?
Yes, it can't get clearer than that. Please excuse me. How many of us are there in the family?
We are 8 brothers and sisters.
Well, tell me then, are there any other families like ours?
There are officially 7, but we're the oldest and therefore the most powerful.
What do you mean by brothers and sisters if we can change bodies?
You reason with logic. We have retained the human habit. When we first come into this world, we retain a certain attachment to our first envelope. If we are born as a man, we are brothers. If we are born as a woman, we are sisters. But I must admit, it has absolutely no real importance. They're just bodies.
Is there a head of the family?
You'll see. You'll meet them all, of course, when you are ready. They created us and set out the rules, especially our father. As for our mother, she retired from the political stage. We don't see her much anymore. I think that all these questions simply bore her.
What's Lord Mortimer's problem?
I think he allows himself to be devoured by a need for recognition.
Has he always been like that?
More or less, but thinking about it, I believe that the birth of our latest sibling greatly accentuated his discomfort.
Do you think he's jealous?
I didn't realize you were so good at behavioral analysis. Indeed, William certainly is prone to jealousy. Finding one's place, notably in the eyes of our father, is not easy, and we each do what we can to succeed. But I can't justify this perpetual rebellion against our rules.
How long has our family been in existence?
We have been here since the very beginning.
What do you mean, exactly?
Are you trying to get information from me?
No, not at all. I was just wondering why that particular question seemed to disturb you.
Let us not insist, then. You yourself weren't very convinced by the question, it seems.
I see. There is still much to learn.
Yes, it's true. You've got some catching up to do, my boy. One thing you must understand, regarding any disagreements that might arise between William and myself, is his position with regard to mankind.
What do you mean?
Well, for centuries we've been trying to help, and therefore preserve humanity. Monarchies are simple and practical. They enable us to inspire humanity efficiently, and I can't understand why William wants to replace them with democracy.
Well, if our goal is to direct the future of humanity, it'd work out easier through a monarchic system rather than a democracy.
I see you're a quick learner. From now on, you know the fence that separates William from the rest of the family. If only he would stop steering the destinies of certain countries like France or the United States of America in such a dangerous direction. It has taken centuries for our family to establish relative peace between demons. Thanks to this policy, we have been able to decide everything by confining the other families to subordinate roles. And now William is obsessed with disrupting everything.
Peace between demons? What do you mean?
I'm not talking about conflicts within our family. If that was all there was, everything would be fine. But several other families, younger but nonetheless powerful, are trying to upset the balance. At present, we dominate most of the major countries around the globe. But some families are pushing, via less influential countries, to gain ground. Do you understand?
As best I can, yes.
When the time comes, you must take up a position on the political chessboard. I only hope your father doesn't take you down with him.
Are you offering me an alliance?
Louis, I do not believe that just because your father is mistaken, all is lost for you. You owe William nothing, so there's nothing obliging you to support him. I want you to make an informed choice. Now go and see your father, see what he has to say, and then think it over very carefully.
That's exactly what I intended to do. Thank you, Uncle.
Don't mention it. If I've been able to help you in any way, go now.
Gregory, what can I do for you?
I've just come to make sure dear Louis has all the information he needs.
Needs for what?
You are free to make your own choices, William. I would like the same for him, too.
There's nothing I want more, Gregory.
Your schemes will lead to your demise, brother. Don't involve Louis. He has nothing to do with all this. The end of the conference approaches, and this masquerade will soon be torn asunder. Don't drag him down with you in your disgrace.
Johann infected Louis with poison to eliminate him before the conference, Gregory.
No, he wouldn't.
You know what that means.
No, wait! There must be an explanation.
In my residence, he attacked my son.
And Johann is mine. If he made the unforgivable error of attacking Louis, I will personally take care of him. He will be gone by this evening. How do you feel?
I want him to pay.
I can assure you he will be punished. I'll be firm, but I must do it alone. He's my son. I refuse to put Johann at your mercy.
All right. Louis, you can trust him. Johann will have to take responsibility for his action. If you didn't know Johann had poisoned Louis, then what did you come here for?
I came to persuade you to let him choose. Louis has just entered the family. Give him a chance to find his place.
His place?
What place is that?
At the end of a leash, like all the others.
Don't listen to him. He's angry with our father.
And with good reason. He governs us in the same way he governs humanity. Through fear and submission.
Same old tune. When will you understand that it's necessary to impose order for things to move forward properly?
You are under his thumb and proud of it. Open your eyes, for crying out loud. His whole system has become outdated, and he's too old to see it. He will lead us to our demise.
Here he goes with another of his grand speeches. William has always been fond of staging big scenes. It's his theatrical side.
Does he have an inferiority complex?
I've told him time and time again, Louis. He always has to take it one step too far.
How dare you? You are blind, brother. Even if the evidence bit you on the nose, you still wouldn't see it. I feel sorry for you.
Tea is drunk hot or not at all, William. When will you learn? It's too bitter. You shouldn't let it brew so long.
I knew you'd be coming along. You are so predictable.
Methodical, I would say. Things must be accomplished in the right order if we want the world to keep turning as it does.
When you speak of the right order, I can't help hearing your order.
Louis, wouldn't you think that by now we've acquired a certain experience? Don't you think that we're the best place to know what the right order should be by now?
I mostly understand that even with the best of intentions,
This kind of talk could well be misinterpreted. Every powerful man has had to speak in this way at some stage. That doesn't mean that they were right or that they achieved great things. Take the kings of France, for example. They weren't all good monarchs.
You see, Louis, Gregory came here to make you change your mind. It's time for things to change. I acknowledge Father has done many good things for humanity, but his time is over, and now he must pass on the torch.
That's enough. There, Louis. That's the pathetic example your father has to offer. I really am sorry about what happened to you. You don't know our family yet. We can't have given you a very good impression, but bear in mind that we are all against William's project.
On the contrary.
If he insists on going through with it, we will have no other choice than to intervene by force. Consequently, my dear Louis, you're going to have to choose sides. I would much rather have met you in different circumstances.
There you are, Louis. See what happens when you don't follow their orders to the letter.
Louis, I'm afraid the time to decide is now. If you follow William, he will drag you down with him. If, on the other hand, you support me, I can assure you that nothing will happen to you. You won't be blamed for your father's errors.
Ah, the masks are off. I offer you liberty. He obliges you to choose, and shamelessly asks you to betray your own father. That is their true face.
Right. Before I answer, well, I'd better think it over very carefully. Do I intend to embrace my demon nature and take my place on the chessboard? Do I stay out of it and do my utmost to stop them? Or do I renounce my nature and do all I can to stay human? It's useless trying to resist my true nature. I'm a demon. May as well accept it. The sooner, the better. Even if I continue to live as a human, all my friends and acquaintances will inevitably end up dying. And I'll be left on my own, forever. I'm a demon and I have to behave like one. The sooner, the better.
So? What do you choose, Louis?
Father, I'm sorry, but if I'm going to follow my instincts, I can't in good conscience follow you.
But
I hope you won't take it personally, but I prefer to support Sir Gregory.
Very well. You have made your choice. It's time we finished what we started, brother. The final vote of the conference over the acquisition of Louisiana will take place in a few hours. I propose you gather your troops and prepare to close the debate.
That's precisely what I was going to suggest. Well, my friends, here we all are.
Isn't the Duchess meant to be with us?
No, she's resting in her room. Don't worry. The conference can resume. Now, we all know that tensions have been running high, but now is not the moment to give in.
The main thing is that just one vote can suffice.
Yes, indeed. It will only take one of you opposing his project to win the conference. But I would rather have us united until the end. Meanwhile, let us remain on our guard against any last-minute surprises. I know my brother well. He never prepares for war if he has no chance of winning. Meanwhile, let us remain on our guard against any last-minute surprises. I know my brother well. He never prepares for war if he has no chance of winning. My friends, here we all are. We are about to definitively shelve Lord Mortimer's absurd project regarding Louisiana. It will only take one of you to oppose it, and we have won. The vote is to be held shortly, so we must keep our guard up. I'm sure Mortimer's preparing something.
Don't worry, Sir Gregory. Nothing can stop us now.
Beware, Johann. We mustn't underestimate him. So, I'll ask you to return to your rooms and stay there until the conference. And if one of Mortimer's team comes knocking at your door, no matter what, do not open it under any circumstance. Don't give them the opportunity to manipulate you. Is that clear?
Understood.
Good. Count on me.
As you wish.
Right. Let us adjourn. Louis, stay on a moment, if you would. I need to speak to you.
Yes. What can I do for you?
I've known my brother for a long time. I'm sure he has a plan. I'd like you to go and see each member of our group and make sure they remain loyal.
Do you think my father's going to try to turn some of them to his side?
Turn them or get rid of them, I don't know. One thing's for sure. I doubt William will give up without a fight. He'll try something. I'll keep him busy while you check on all of our group. Can I trust you?
Of course.
If there is a traitor in our group, find out who it is, Louis. Find them, then come back and let me know. I'll deal with them personally. I want a landslide victory. I want to teach William a lesson.
Wait a minute. Isn't the Duchess supposed to be here?
No, she's resting in her room. I confess I'm a little worried about her mental health. She's going through a very difficult time at the moment, and I wouldn't want my brother to exploit her fragility.
I'll go now.
Thank you, Louis. See you in a while. Have you seen everyone?
I need to talk to von Wohner. Blast it. Holm is with him.
Gentlemen.
Louis! I'm sorry, but we're waiting for Duke Manuel. If you wouldn't mind leaving us, I should think you already have enough to do as it is.
Very well. I didn't mean to disturb you.
Just my luck. He'll only talk to the Duke. Right. We'll have to fix that.
Duke Manuel, here you are at last.
Sir Gregory, Mr. von Wollner.
Thank you for agreeing to this meeting. I'll leave you with Johann a while. I still have a few things to settle. I shan't be long.
See you later, Sir Gregory.
Oh, God, no.
Your Eminence? God damn it, Your Eminence!
Damn, I can't feel his pulse. He's dead. What the hell is going on here? I've got to let Mortimer and Holm know about this.
Can you tell us how you found him, Louis?
I went to speak to him about the conference. I knocked on his door. As there was no answer, I went in and I saw him exactly where he is now. I took his pulse, but it was too late.
William?
Nothing to do with me, Gregory, if that's what you mean. And you?
Of course not. Poor Giuseppe was with me. I had no interest in getting rid of him.
Louis?
Me? Of course not.
No, I thought as much. I was wondering if you had any idea about what might have happened.
No, I've got no idea.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I haven't the faintest idea of who did this.
Well, we'll take care of it now. Thank you for letting us know, Louis. I shall inform everyone that His Eminence has had to return to the continent for personal reasons. I must ask you to keep it to yourself.
Duke Manuel, here you are at last.
Sir Gregory, Mr. von Wollner.
Thank you for agreeing to this meeting. I shan't beat about the bush, my friend. I was very disappointed by your behavior. I had thought you more loyal. Consequently, my affection for you leads me to ask you to reconsider one last time.
I've already reconsidered it, Sir Gregory. I shall be loyal to you when it comes to the vote. Have no doubt about it.
Excellent news indeed, my friend. Did you hear, Johann?
Yes, and it comes at a most timely moment. I anticipate an overwhelming victory.
It goes without saying to keep it to yourself. I would like to give William a nice surprise.
Whatever you say.
I'll leave you with Johann a while. I still have a few things to settle. I shan't be long.
See you later, Sir Gregory.
Oh, God, no.
I know who might have held a grudge against him.
Really? And who might that be?
Well, it's awkward.
Don't worry. You can talk in front of me, Louis. I gave no such order. And if it concerns one of my guests, I need to know their identity.
Well, there's Mr. von Wollner.
Johann? Continue, Louis. Why do you think Johann would have had a grudge against His Eminence?
I heard him making threats. When he tried to attack me earlier, Piaggi stepped in and Mr. von Wollner swore he would get even.
Gregory!
Wait, William. You mustn't judge Johann prematurely.
Under my roof?
William, if Johann has anything to do with this tragedy, I demand the right to take care of it personally. He knew the rules, and I will not tolerate him attacking a guest like this. I'm asking you to let me handle it.
It's against my better judgment, but permission granted. Don't make a mess of it, though, or I'll take care of him personally.
Very well. I'll be about my business. I will find out exactly how this happened.
Thank you for informing us, Louis. I shall inform everyone that His Eminence has had to return to the continent for personal reasons. I must ask you to keep it to yourself.
If von Wollner is the murderer, what's gonna happen to him?
He may be Gregory's son, but if he hasn't departed within the hour, I'll take care of him myself. It will not be pretty. A lifetime as a masked servant should cleanse him of the desire to commit an act like that ever again in my house.
Here comes von Wollner. With Holm, of course. The scoundrel wastes no time.
Louis, what are you doing here? I promised you I would take care of Mr. von Wollner. Everything's under control, don't worry.
Let me speak to him.
Now. I told you, I will take care of Johann personally. Believe me, even though it pains me, he will pay the price. Now we're waiting for Duke Manuel, so would you leave us, please?
Very well, but you'd better keep your word, sir.
That is certainly my intention.
They're waiting for Duke Manuel. No doubt to make him change sides. All right. If they want him, then they'll get him.
I don't understand what came over you, Johann. It's inexcusable.
I thought I was doing the right thing. Helping you to...
Helping me? Are you joking? You can no longer stay here.
What? But why not?
If you stay here, you are as good as dead. Even I cannot protect you for long.
But, Father, no.
You don't know William. You're going to leave the island immediately. There's no other choice.
I couldn't have known. If I had even guessed.
It's too late. Make haste. Don't say goodbye to anyone. You will probably never see them again anyway. I'll apologize to them on your behalf.
So I have to go?
I'll meet you in Berlin. Hurry now.
Are you leaving, sir?
Yes. Well, I find myself...
Johann! Ah, Duke Manuel.
Sir Gregory.
Thank you for agreeing to this meeting. I wanted to make it clear that I am particularly disappointed by your change of sides, and to let you know that from now on you have definitively lost my support.
Come now, sir. There is no point...
No point in continuing with this discussion. I entirely agree. You are wasting my time. Good luck for the future. From now on, you're on your own.
Oh dear. I do believe I've just ruined Godoy's political career.
I don't understand what came over you, Johann. It's inexcusable.
I thought I was doing the right thing. Helping you to...
Helping me? Are you joking? You can no longer stay here.
What? But why not?
If you stay here, you are as good as dead. You being my son changes nothing. You attacked and hurt his son. It's the rules. Even I cannot protect you for long.
But, Father, no.
You don't know William. If Louis dies before you get off the island, you won't be leaving alive. So you better pray that he recovers.
But you're going to...
Just shut up for once. You're going to leave the island immediately. There's no other choice.
I couldn't have known. If I had even guessed.
It's too late. Make haste. Don't say goodbye to anyone. You will probably never see them again anyway. I'll apologize to them on your behalf.
So I have to go?
I'll meet you in Berlin. Hurry now.
Are you leaving, sir?
Yes. Well, I find myself...
Johann! Duke Manuel.
Sir Gregory. Mr. von Wollner is leaving?
Indeed, alas. Some business that simply can't wait. But don't worry, our plans haven't changed. We shall easily win the vote.
At this rate, there won't be anyone left to vote.
I trust you completely.
Ah, Louis. I was getting impatient. So, tell me, have you been able to speak to everyone?
Absolutely.
And? Did you find a traitor in our midst?
Well, Emma's become deranged since the death of her sister. She thinks we're going to get married and...
I'll take care of her. It's the after effects which are only to be expected. I'll go and see her, rest assured.
That'll be perfect. Thank you, Uncle.
So, are you going to tell me if there is a traitor amongst us? Any news of Piaggi?
If I were you, I wouldn't count on Cardinal Piaggi.
The scoundrel! I've given him everything, and this is how he thanks me.
I wouldn't be surprised if he and my father have been close allies for a long time.
He'll get what's coming to him. And President Washington, can we count on him?
Unfortunately, President Washington has changed sides.
I must admit it comes as no surprise. My brother has always followed him, and I was expecting this reversal. Can we trust Emma?
Emma? She's on your side, of course.
Yes, she is a valued asset. What's your opinion of Duke Manuel?
Duke Manuel won't be supporting us.
How dare he! If it weren't for me, he wouldn't be where he is today.
I had to trick him in order to make sure. I passed inside Napoleon so that he would talk to me.
Congratulations, Louis. I see you're not one to stop at half measures.
I pretended that I was only checking he was still working for Mortimer.
And he confessed?
He was suspicious right to the end, but yes, he ended up giving himself away and conceded he was working for your brother.
That scoundrel! And von Wollner? What's your feeling about him?
We can't count on von Wollner.
Pardon me?
I know that it will come as a shock to you,
The
but...
little coward! I've always said he was a weakling. Thank you, Louis, for all this information. I only hope what you say is right. The consequences could be horrific.
That is what we're likely to see.
William has moved his pieces. If that's how it is, it's my turn now.
What are you going to do?
Show him that I am not going to be outdone. Prepare yourself. It won't be long before the conference begins. There's just enough time to briefly go over it once more with my guests. Let us meet in the conference room when the time comes. Ah, Louis. I was getting impatient. So, tell me, have you been able to speak to everyone?
Absolutely.
And? Did you find a traitor in our midst?
Before I go any further, I'd like to talk about Emma.
Yes? What's wrong?
She's ill, Uncle. She needs help. She cannot reasonably take part in the conference.
What do you mean? Louis, I know that what happened recently was difficult for Emma, but do you realize what you're asking of me?
Sir, she's completely out of her mind. Even if you asked her to vote, you wouldn't be able to guarantee she will vote for you. She's locked herself in an absurd fantasy world. I implore you, don't make her do this.
Well, I can see there is great kindness in you, Louis. But I'm afraid...
Make her leave. Find an institution that can help her, please, sir. You don't need her to win the vote. Whatever happens, I'm with you, and I can assure you of my vote. We can't lose.
Very well. I've always attached great importance to our family, and even though it saddens me to confess it, I must agree with you that the poor girl is in a very bad way. I will tell William that I'm removing the Duchess from the conference, and that he must organize her departure right away. Will that satisfy you?
That'll be perfect. Thank you, Uncle.
So, are you going to tell me if there is a traitor amongst us? Any news of Piaggi?
You can count on him.
As always. And President Washington, can we count on him?
Mr. President is maintaining a favorable position towards us.
Well, that's as surprising as it is pleasant to hear. What's your opinion of Duke Manuel?
He is a loyal and faithful friend of your cause.
I never once doubted him. And von Wollner? What's your feeling about him?
He's thoroughly committed to your cause, without a shadow of a doubt.
I never doubted him, but best to be sure. Thank you, Louis, for all this information. I only hope what you say is right. The consequences could be horrific.
That is what we're likely to see.
William has moved his pieces. If that's how it is, it's my turn now.
What are you going to do?
Show him that I am not going to be outdone. Prepare yourself. It won't be long before the conference begins. There's just enough time to briefly go over it once more with my guests. Let us meet in the conference room when the time comes.
So, do we agree?
Agreed. Let's return to our places now.
You're right.
What were they talking about?
Louis, a moment of your time, please.
Yes, monsieur. What can I do for you?
I would like you to hear me out without interrupting. It's in your interest. You are in a perilous situation, and I want to avoid you becoming a laughingstock.
What exactly are you talking about?
The reason why we are all here. You might think you can win, but...
Indeed. It looks that way, doesn't it?
Well, think again. You don't know everything. In actual fact, all of Sir Gregory's team is working for Mortimer. If you vote for Holm, Mortimer will never forgive you. And I can assure you that he is taken down far tougher than you.
Are you threatening me?
Not me, Louis. But you are the only one who hasn't turned against Sir Gregory. Join us. Vote with us if you do not want to feel the wrath of Mortimer alone.
Is that all?
That's all, yes. I just wanted to warn you. Now you are free to vote where your conscience leads you. Good luck.
So, he's the one who's been persuading them all to turn back. I just gotta hope that Holmes managed to pull off his conjuring trick. Otherwise, Bonaparte's right. I'll be the only one voting against Mortimer, and therefore the only one to face the consequences.
My friends, here we are at last, gathered together to close this conference. I would first of all like to thank you all for making the time to be here and lend your services. Gregory, I believe I may speak for both of us when I say that we are honored by your presence here.
You are perfectly right to do so, William. Thank you for putting your faith in us and for coming here to participate in this conference. Thank you for helping us to make the best decisions. And I especially want to thank you, William, for perfectly hosting us at your home during these past several days.
I'm not sure all the guests would agree to that. In any case, Holmes doesn't seem to be himself.
Good. I think we can begin. You will vote in turn on the question that interests us today. Are you for or against the transfer of ownership of Louisiana from Spain to France? Duchess Hillsborough.
For.
Duke Manuel.
For.
Your Eminence.
For. But
Gregory, please. Monsieur Napoleon.
For.
Mr. von Wollner.
For.
What?
Gregory, please refrain from interrupting the voting. You know the rules, brother. President Washington?
For.
Finally, Monsieur de Richet. What is your vote?
My turn.
I vote for.
And while they were eating, he said, "Truly I tell you, one of you will betray me."
The votes are now cast. The project is therefore approved.
Dirty traitor!
Mr. Godoy, soon you will be in charge of passing the territory of Louisiana over to France.
It will be done.
What have you done?
Me? Nothing, dear brother.
What have you done to me?
What have I done? Nothing, Gregory. You did it yourself. A word of advice. In the future, that is, if you have one, don't drink someone else's cup of tea without checking what's in it.
Father, what happened? Sir Gregory, what's the matter? William, what have you done?
Not now. I think we can begin. You will vote in turn on the question that interests us today. Are you for or against the transfer of ownership of Louisiana from Spain to France? Monsieur de Richet?
I vote against.
Duchess Hillsborough?
Against.
Duke Manuel?
Against.
Your Eminence?
Against.
Monsieur Napoleon?
For.
Mr. von Volner?
Against.
President Washington?
For.
The votes are now cast. So you were not won over by my project. That hurts.
I warned you. You did. You didn't want to listen to me.
Never mind. It will still come to pass.
Traitor! What have you done? You are obliged to respect your word. That is the rule.
The time of conferences is over, dear brother. Let us abandon all this charade.
You don't have the right. What have you done to me?
What have I done? Nothing, Gregory. You did it yourself. A word of advice. In the future, that is, if you have one, don't drink someone else's cup of tea without checking what's in it.
Father, what happened? Sir Gregory, what's the matter? William, what have you done?
Not now.
You are mad, William. Father will punish you for this.
He will probably try, unless I get to him first.
But I cannot die.
No, you cannot die. You are, however, losing all sense of reason, as well as all your special abilities.
What did I drink?
Can't you guess? There are but few things that can have such an effect on such as we. You would know that if you ever ventured even a little way off of Father's beaten track.
Revenge!
Oh, no, my dear Gregory. You will not be taking any revenge. You will die stupidly, alone, enclosed in that rather withered body.
Help me!
After several centuries of near absolute power, here you find yourself on your hands and knees, hoping in vain that someone is going to help you. Tell me, what does that feel like? Never happened to me. Can't be good. You cannot leave your body, you cannot project yourself elsewhere, you cannot even contact Father. Go ahead, try. But you are my brother, so I ask you to remember that all this is your own fault. And I want you to understand I get absolutely no pleasure out of it. Well, very little.
You swine!
A new order is born today, brother. Enough of Father's hegemony. After all these years of servitude, I can finally stand up and oppose it. You chose to serve him, whatever his excesses. Now it's up to you to face the consequences of that choice.
Matt, I am stronger than you.
What? But... What on earth is happening? Am I dreaming or...
Louis, it's me, Gregory. Listen, we don't have much time.
But where are we?
Louis, I brought us here. You must act swiftly. I can't hold out for long. William has poisoned me. He must have used the blood of a former demon. I am no longer able to enter the body of someone else. The poison is gnawing away at me from the inside. I'm going to die, Louis.
But where are we?
In the ether. What you see is not real. It's only a mental projection created by my spirit. I'm occupying William's spirit at the moment, but I'm not going to be able to keep it up forever. Join me, Louis. Otherwise, all will be lost.
Yes. Yes, I'll join you.
Find a way. Hurry.
I must find them quickly. What am I doing here now? Nothing seems real.
You're nothing but a coward.
What a bunch of amateurs you are. Please, keep calm.
What on earth is going on here? I don't understand a thing.
Louis, don't waste any time. Appease them. My thoughts are becoming confused. Help me. Be quick.
Yes, not a minute to lose.
I can count on my father and my son to defend me. Yes. But will they make it in time?
That's not really Elizabeth, it's another demon who wants to protect Holm from Mortimer. On a symbolic level, he should be placed between the two of them. Looks like I've succeeded. They've all disappeared.
Louis, it's worked. But don't waste any time.
Yes, I'm coming.
At least as soon as I found the exit. I must be quick.
My memories. I'm losing my sense of Louis? Are you there?
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
Pick up the thread of my thoughts, Louis. Of my memories. Make haste!
Dear Countess Dunolstein, what a pity you disappointed me. Dear Countess Dunolstein, what a pity you disappointed me. Managed to swindle Lafayette for the damage he did to the Western monarchies. So full of remorse once it was done, I don't really regret making you steal the necklace and end up in a convent.
I heard about this story. The Countess was apparently an acquaintance of Sir Gregory, but this has nothing to do with what's happening at the manor. I can put that one to the side.
Ah, Charles Francois, what an adventure. Ah, Charles Francois, what an adventure. It was so easy for me to sell your title of Marquis de Maintenon to Françoise d'Aubigné and to sail for the Caribbean islands. One of my greatest successes. With one stroke, I placed myself right next to the King of France, with a mistress under my orders. And I was able to impose my law over the seas of the triangular trade.
Anyhow, I should try to concentrate on his voice. He's talking about Charles-François d'Angennes and Françoise d'Aubigné. They were contemporaries of Louis XIV. This has nothing to do with what brought Holm here. I had to look somewhere else.
France, so much effort, so much wasted time. France, so much effort, so much wasted time. From Charles Martel to the wars of religion,
I simply did not consider Protestantism to be a real threat, and that was my greatest mistake. My faith in Father and the Catholic Church that he administered made me blind. I can see that now. I lost France through 100 years of war.
Analysis is correct, but there's no link to what interests me here.
I recalled Sparta. Of my exchanges back then with my brother. I did everything in my power to avoid the Peloponnesian War, but he wouldn't listen. He always wanted more. Father wasn't gentle with William back then, shutting him in the body of Pericles for 8 years, and reducing Athens and its cursed democracy to its knees.
One of Holmes' distant memories and one of his brothers. With an ego like his, he's undoubtedly talking about Mortimer. Could there be a link here? No, at the time they weren't enemies like they are today.
It was a trap right from the start. It was a trap right from the start. At the previous conference 3 years ago, I'm sure he already knew I would bring the Hillsborough sisters here. He knew it. He knew it. He already knew they were his daughters.
Previous conference? That's when Mortimer started putting his plan into action. That's how this whole thing began.
At the previous conference 3 years ago, I'm sure he already knew I would bring
This is the first event that brought Holm here. Oh yeah, I'm on the right track.
He allowed me to bring Emily back again to this conference. He allowed me to bring Emily back again to this conference, supposedly to find her sister, whereas Emma hadn't even disappeared yet. The poor wretch was shot as her sister was setting foot on the island. I should have understood that earlier.
It's about my first vision on the island, the day of my arrival. This could be the beginning of the story, yet Holm is talking about bringing Emily back again. So there must have been something before this.
He allowed me to bring Emily back again to this conference, supposedly to find
I'm on the right track here.
Be quick! And coincidentally, who arrives at the same time as Emily? And coincidentally, who arrives at the same time as Emily? Louis de Richet, his son. He brings his 4 children together, and even then I didn't react.
This is about my arrival, as well as Emily's. There must be an earlier memory that talks about my sisters.
And coincidentally, who arrives at the same time as Emily?
I'm getting closer to him.
I must speak to you. France, so much effort, so much wasted time. I recalled Sparta, and when Elizabeth disappeared, No, it's not possible. I couldn't have missed that. Not me. He cut me off from our father, and I didn't say a word.
Elizabeth's presence was crucial for Holm. If she was still here, he'd still be alive. This memory is important without a shadow of a doubt. It took place after my arrival with Emily and Cardinal Biaggi, but well before I found out the truth about my nature.
He cut me off from our father, and I didn't say a word. And when Elizabeth disappeared, He feeds Louis, and I continue to see nothing. He feeds Louis, and I continue to see nothing. He stuffed his poor son with an occult knowledge that we usually take months to give to our children, and Louis is only trying his best to get by. He doesn't realize he's being led to the slaughter.
So Holmes seems certain that Mortimer's been using me, but I get the impression that he's only had this vision recently. It's one of the last ones he had.
He stuffed his poor son with an occult knowledge that we usually take
end here.
months to give to our children. I recall Sparta. And the cherry on the cake is I drank his cursed tea. And the cherry on the cake is I drank his cursed tea. He knew I would drink it. The rascal knows me better than I do myself.
The blood that Mortimer used is deadly poison for a demon. Holm won't survive it. Oh, it's over for him. He's finished.
And the cherry on the cake is I drank his cursed tea. He trapped me. He poisoned me to stop me from being able to leave this body. He cut off all communication with Father and brought his children here. How could I not have seen it earlier? He's going to absorb me. The traitor! No one can stop him now. Hurry, Louis. I absolutely must see you before it's too late. If you have managed to follow my thoughts, come to me. Quickly! Louis, hurry! He's coming!
What's happening?
I can sense him. He's here. He's trying to get inside me, Louis. William has completely lost his mind. He's getting ready to pull out all the stops. He's going to devour my mind, Louis. I'm not going to be able to stop him.
Louis, you are here. I sense your presence.
What? But he can't even see me.
Congratulations, my son. You have succeeded in joining us.
Louis, don't let him draw you in there. You are signing your death warrant if you decide to follow him. I won't be there to protect you.
It's over, my son. We have won. A new order can be born.
Louis, I'm so weak. I can feel him entering. I can no longer keep him out. He's coming.
He's here.
I can. Can you see him?
He's here. He's coming closer to you.
Where? Louis. I don't want to just disappear. He's inside my mind. I can feel him crushing me.
He's just in front of you.
I'm so sorry, brother. There's nothing you can do to stop me now. You made your choice, and you have lost.
I was wrong about him from the very beginning. He's mad. He must be stopped. You can still do something, Louis.
Don't worry, son.
Father?
I am here. You can go in peace.
Father, I am sorry.
Don't be. You've been infallible right to the end. I am proud all those years watching you grow into who you are today.
But Father, I almost...
No,
If your brother had not been so malicious, you would still be with us. I am here now. I am going to take care of him. Count on me to... Stop! All of you! Leave now!
William!
Calm down, Louis.
How dare you?
Louis?
Your own brother.
Father?
Gregory should have never trusted you. I knew he shouldn't have come here.
No, not now.
It's pointless trying to run.
You made your choice, and you have lost.
I was wrong about him from the very beginning. He's mad. He must be stopped. You can still do something, Louis. Don't let him get away with it. Please.
I have been following you, Uncle, and I shall remain with you.
Thank you, Louis.
But what must I do?
We must notify the family about what's happening here. Let me enter you. I shall empower you to do so.
All right, do it quickly.
There. Now you can communicate with the ether. When you return to reality, go to Elizabeth's room and call the ether. You will find an ally there.
It's over, brother. Don't fight it.
You will be punished for this.
Perhaps, but you won't be there to see it, will you?
You will be punished!
Look at yourself, Uncle. You're just as bad as he is. Despite being centuries old, and despite all the wisdom you should have acquired, I don't believe in you, nor do I believe in him. You can count on me to do my utmost so that neither of you will succeed in your plans.
Louis, it's over for me. It's up to you now to protect our family. Find your sister, Louis. She'll know what to do.
What are you saying?
Find her.
It's over, brother. Don't fight it.
You will be punished for this.
Perhaps, but you won't be there to see it, will you?
You will be punished!
I wanted to believe in you, Uncle.
Louis, no. Don't do it.
I can't follow you anymore.
Louis!
He's won. We put up a good fight, but let's be honest. He won.
You are just as mad as he is, Louis. You'll end up just like him.
It's over, brother. Don't fight it.
You will be punished for this.
Perhaps, but you won't be there to see it, will you?
You will be punished!
Where am I?
It's all right, son. Don't panic. It's over.
I'm back? Where are the guests?
I invited them to go up to their rooms. They're resting. don't worry.
Gregory?
You should have chosen your allies better, my son.
You mean you planned to get rid of him since the beginning?
For years, Louis. Come now. Would I really have risked everything at such a one-sided conference without having a trump card up my sleeve?
But what about the conference rules?
To hell with the rules. From now on, I'm only following my own rules. Things are going to change, you'll see. However, I expect you to stop your childish games and follow me. I gave you time to find your feet with Gregory, but things are going to get serious now, and I expect a little more loyalty from you.
What did you do to him?
I devoured his soul.
But I didn't see you use the Holy Lance.
Indeed not. I didn't need to. Can't you guess how I did it? The Lance of Longinus is just a vessel, Louis. It could have been any object that had the blood of Christ on it. The blood of an ancient, more precisely. But I didn't need the blood of an ancient. You see, I have been in dear Lord Mortimer's physical body for longer than my brother has been in Sir Gregory Holm's. Therefore, I am an ancient, Louis.
He was your brother. Why did you kill him? He never meant you any harm.
Oh, Louis, I am exhausted. Let's talk about this later.
No, tell me why now. I want to understand.
Stubborn as a mule. After centuries of trying to convince him, I assure you I had no other option than to do away with him. He would never have allowed me to depose our father. In the past, he had already opposed me, and sometimes very violently. He seemed to you like a man of peace, because you did not represent any danger to him. But I can assure you, he was not. With anything to do with our father, he would be merciless. In any case, what's done is done. I'm going to rest in the dining room. Join me there when you're ready. The time has come to end this little antisocial gathering.
I did well not to follow home, didn't I? Come on, let's get it over with and join Mortimer in the dining room.